We're still doing a little tech here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Hello, YouTube. Hello, TikTok.
How's everybody doing? It's been a great day so far. It's a really nice weather here. We're from Oklahoma. Carl and Lori from Oklahoma.
Carl and Lori here.
Via
Hi,
Galveston.
John.
We're down in Galveston right now. It's still supposed to be 70 degrees today.
We got to get out there.
We're going to.
Yeah.
As soon as we get off here, we're headed for the hot tub.
Yep.
So it'll be a ball.
And maybe we could walk the beach later if it's not too windy. It's usually terribly windy in South Texas in the winter.
We might do that too. Yep. Sounds like a ball. Well, if you guys saw my promo earlier, was talking about, I said, I'm going to go fishing, and I forgot we had to go live. So anyway, and that's kind of what we'll be talking about today. Is we're going to be teaching people how to fish, but not for fish, but for how to have your own online business that can change your life from now on.
Exactly.
And that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool analogy to me, because it got me thinking about, well, one time, me and my dad, we went to Colorado, and we hired a guide to take us trout fishing on the Rio Grande. And, we had fished the Rio Grande our whole life, but, we'd never really had much success.
That's true.
But we hired this guide that knew how to, he knew how to fish. He knew how to catch them.
He knew where to find them.
He knew where they were. And so we spent the money, and we hired this guy.
Hi guys, thanks for hopping in.
It was one of the most fun fishing trips we ever had, and he taught us
successful.
Yeah, very very successful. So it was. Sometimes that's what you have to do in life, is you gotta go learn the skills in order to be successful in whatever it is you're doing.
Somebody who's walking in front of you to show you the way.
Somebody that's already been there, done that, and come up with a plan to make that work. And that, and in business, it works the same way.
Yes.
If you can find a program that has all the steps in there to help you be successful in business, how many of you think that makes a lot of sense, so you don't have to learn it the hard way? I mean, I've learned a lot of stuff the hard way myself.
We've been to the school of hard knocks.
Yes, we have. We've been long time business owners for 39 years. Yeah. Our whole life we've always been in some kind of a business, and we always wanted to be in an online business. So because we got tired of all those 20 and 30-year-olds making millions of dollars online, and we couldn't figure out how to get a piece of that.
We could not crack that code.
Couldn't crack the code.
No, we didn't on our own.
Because we're not tech savvy.
No.
We're old. Yeah, we're really old. I'd never been on TikTok. I'd never been on YouTube. I didn't know anything about social media. I was doing good to answer emails. Okay.
That's really the truth. He asks me email questions all the time still. And I'm not big tech savvy gal either at all.
So, it's not a respecter of persons. So we found a program that we could buy that taught us everything we needed to know in order to be successful in our own online business. Now, it's not that I wanted to do another startup, because I did not. Because we have done that in our life, and it's painful and very expensive.
Time involved.
Yeah, it takes too long to build something, So we wanted something that was already going. So we went online and looked for businesses that were, available to buy. And those were, hundreds of thousands of dollars. We were fixing to buy one. And, at the last minute, we were praying about it and said, I just don't feel good about it. 59 and 60 years old.
10 years of debt.
She's 60 and I'm 60. And we just couldn't do it.
No.
So we found this program. Our old Amazon coach is one that told us about it. She was very successful in that business, and she replaced her income with this business in 3 months. It took us 3 months looking around, wasting time.
Because we're so sharp.
Yeah.
We are the sharpest tools in the
Because, coming, this old dog, I just thought you had to be in debt and, all this stuff. And, if it was worth doing. But, we finally said, okay. When she told us that she had replaced her Amazon income in 3 months, we're just like, we have to look at that, because she was.
We'd be dumb not to look.
Yeah. She was a much bigger player than we were, and so we chose to jump in and with both feet and get involved in this and look at this program, and it has changed our life. Yeah. So if it's something that you're looking for, if you're looking for a way to make extra income in your life, then you've come to the right place.
Yes.
Whether or not you're tech savvy or
it's great for beginners, definitely.
It's just like,
because that's what we are.
It's paint by number, and that's what Carl here That's what I understand. So, if that's where you're at, then you're in the right place.
Right.
Yeah, you're in the right place. And what we do is we have four digital products that we bought, that's prepackaged and ready to resell, and it comes with a full automated system. And that was it had, how many of y'all ever looked at a business or a job or whatever it is that you do, and it checks all the boxes that you're looking for.
Right.
Well, for us,
Even a vacation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever it is you're doing, it has to check all the boxes.
Yes.
You're going to buy a new car. Well, you
Yes.
want this and you want that, you want this and you want that. Does it check all the boxes? And that's kind of the way we were looking for a business to get involved with. It had to check all the boxes for us and before we wanted to jump in and do something. And one of those boxes does it come with, a step-by-step, program that teaches anybody how to do
Hi,
this?
Josh.
And it does. And so we're just like, we're in. Once we saw that, it was like, okay, if it has all the tech skills that's needed and it's already been done for you, that's a great thing, don't y'all think? It was for us.
Yes.
So it really checked that box.
Hey, Josh.
Hey,
Great
Josh.
to have you.
Good to have you, man.
Lori, and there's just a whole ton of names there we
Oh,
missed.
man.
But thank you guys for hopping in.
Thank you. And if you want to learn more about this business and you don't have time to stick with us, I understand.
It's Saturday.
Yeah, go over there and follow us and smash that button up there, and then go to our link in our bio and put your best email in there, and it comes with all the information about this business that we're talking about. And it doesn't cost an arm and a leg to get into this. And that was another thing. It's hard to believe that for us it was under $1,000. We have a business in a box basically that teaches us everything we need to know and to have a six-figure income.
Yes.
Well, that's a pretty dang good deal. I'd never seen anything like that.
We've never seen anything like it.
I'm just like, that's the fishing manual I want, that teaches you everything you need to know to be successful. And it doesn't, you don't have to go into debt for it. It comes with master resale rights of these prepackaged digital products. It comes with 4 digital products, prepackaged, ready to go, ready to resell. And you can resell them as many times as you want. And once you buy this program, those products become yours.
Right.
You have the master resale rights. You don't have to pay me. You don't have to pay anybody else. Once you buy this program, you sell it as if it's your own.
Right.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Okay. It comes with 4 prepackaged, products for yourself. And I'm not spending a lot of time talking about, why we did it or anything. Cause I get you. If you're like me, tell us what you're doing and tell us how it works. That's what I wanted to know. Tell us
I want to
facts.
hear the stories. I like the stories.
Facts only. I just want to know what you're doing and how this works and how much it costs and all that.
He gets tired of listening to me, I'm sure, because I like to tell a lot of stories.
So maybe today's your day, because I'm just jumping in there and telling you it comes with 4 prepackaged products for under $1,000, and you can make a 6-figure income with this business. Okay, that's the bottom line.
That's a gist.
That's the gist of it. I'm telling you that up front because I know that you're sitting here, you're wasting my Saturday, and I know if you're a working guy like me. You work. I mean, I'm away from the house 11 hours a day working at my job. Well, your weekends are valuable.
Yeah.
So I respect your time. Okay, I do. I respect your time, and so that's the gist of it, of what we're doing here. We're going to get down in the weeds and kind of talk a little more about why we did it and how it works and all those kinds of things. So if you have time, I would love to share with you about how it all works. And we're doing it together. This is only about the 5th or 6th time I've been on here, coming to you live. And I just pretending like, we're sitting across the kitchen table, because that's what we're sitting at here is a kitchen table.
We're on vacation in Galveston.
Yeah. And we're working. So this
is our last day. Though.
Yeah.
Sucks.
I'm a little depressed about that.
Yeah. Got to go back to work.
But, it's okay. Because we're here working, building our online business. And we were talking just this morning. It's just like, once we get this thing built and I get to retire from my job next year, from the benefits of this business, this is going to be what life's like all the time.
Right.
And you can do this business from anywhere in the world. And we're worldwide. You can, we're talking to people yesterday. There's somebody on here from Venezuela, I believe. Yeah. And Bora Bora, and New Zealand, and all over the world. Who would have ever dreamt that, we'd have a worldwide business? It's always,
two Okies from a small town.
Yeah, from 2,500 population
Yes.
town. That
Red Dirt, Oklahoma people.
Yeah, that we'd have a worldwide a business opportunity for ourselves. It's just pretty incredible.
It is.
And it's just.
Thank you for that.
It's still mind blowing. So go over there and check it out. All the details. We probably do a really poor job explaining how all this works.
We get all fired up.
I do. I get so excited about sharing this opportunity. I really do, because it's like nothing I've ever seen. And I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm trying to tell you about an opportunity that we
What's
found.
out there? Because we didn't know this was out there.
I didn't know, and whether or
we
not,
had no idea.
and I don't know if it's for you or not.
No.
And that's fine. If it's not, keep scrolling, man.
Exactly.
It's all right. It doesn't really affect our income, not at all. We're only looking to help the people that are really looking.
Right.
How many of you guys are sick and tired of going to the 9-to-5
Yes.
job and not getting ahead? I wanted a fishing manual to taught me how to fish in an online
Right.
business with somebody that knew what they were doing to help us achieve those goals and try to capture some of those.
Something that was ours.
Something that was
that we
ours.
had control
that we
over.
had, yeah. If you're in control of your own income, isn't that a better place to be than somebody else deciding whenever
Thank
you
you.
get paid?
Thank you, Hamilton.
For me, being in business for yourself is the only way to fly. This business has no salary cap. You know why? Because it's your business.
It's up to you.
It's totally up to you.
Yeah.
There's people in here making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, every year in this business. Maybe
Why not you? Why
Yeah.
not us? Right?
Yeah, and that was too big for me to get my my old mind around. I would be happy with a quarter of that.
Yeah.
So if it's something that you're looking for, then by all means go over there, follow us, put your best email in
Education
there.
is power,
Education.
guys.
It doesn't cost anything to check it out.
No.
And that's another thing. If you're a pessimist, I was probably the world's
Oh
worst.
my gosh. Yes.
So I get you. I totally understand. But until I actually spent the time and really evaluated it, could I make a real decision about it?
Absolutely.
And for me, being a entrepreneur my whole life,
we're always looking.
we're always analyzing.
Oh, same for you, Hamilton.
Yeah, I mean, we've looked at thousands of businesses. Really, that's one of. I know I'm kind of a nerd.
He loves some business.
I
now.
really do. I
A
mean,
man wants to talk about it all the time.
we have bought and sold 8 different businesses in our 39 years. So believe me, I've evaluated thousands of businesses, whether or not it was a good fit for us or not.
Because we've always done more than one thing.
Yeah,
We always
more
have
than
had
one.
we've always been diversified.
Yeah. So I had to analyze it to death. And I did. I sat back and watched our old Amazon coach, which we knew and trusted, but I just thought, this sounds too good to be true. And the old saying, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Well, you bet. It's really true. But the thing is this does take work. I'm not sitting here telling you can get rich quick. I mean, by golly, you got to work at it.
You got to learn some new skills,
You gotta learn
just
some new
like
skills.
any business.
Just
Any
like
business, you got to learn skills.
just like my fishing story. If you don't know how to fish, you don't know how to bait the hook, you don't have a fishing pole.
You know where the fish are, how to figure out where the fish
Well,
are.
you're probably not be very successful at it. So you have to, there's skills you have to learn. You have to work at it.
Every business we bought, there was skills to learn.
Yeah. One of
It's the only way we were ever successful is plugging into people who went before us and were successful.
That's right. Yeah. One business we
Absolutely.
bought, it was we manufactured dry cleaning detergents and things for commercial launderers and dry cleaners. I knew nothing. I mean, I made a D in chemistry in college, so there you go.
So it's a great idea. Let's buy that business.
Yeah. So I was not a chemist
We
by
didn't wear anything that needed to be dry cleaned.
no. We never used a dry cleaner. But we bought this business, and if it hadn't been for the fellow that we bought it from,
The previous owner.
we signed an agreement, and he worked with us for the whole year, basically teaching us the ins and outs of this business and how it all worked. Well, we would not have been successful.
No.
So you have to learn skills in whatever it is that you choose to do.
And then you have to actually put the skills to work.
Yeah. Then you have to do it.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
It's your own business.
You can be as big or as little as you want to be. And you might be saying, so, okay, now how does it work then? Okay, well, it's digital products.
Yes.
How does digital products work? Well, I had a hard time getting my mind around that.
World.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, what? I mean, I was used to, making buckets of stuff and making big air filters for cars or for trucks and trains and stuff like that. That was another business we had. Shipping it on trucks and the physical products is what I'm trying to say.
And then Amazon, it was all physical.
And,
all physical products.
We had an Amazon business for 5 years, and it was all physical products that we sent into their warehouses. So those I understood, but a digital product is so cool.
Hey Smurf, thanks for joining.
Is because it's something that it's digital, literally. It's like an ebook that you download or Audible book that you download, on your phone or on your computer. So how many of y'all would like to have a high demand digital product that you could sell over and over again? Put a 1 in there if that sounds good. Put a 1 in there.
You don't have to create yourself because it's already ready to go.
Ready to go and ready made for you. And there's millions of people looking for what you have. Does that sound good?
Yeah, Hamilton said yes. She's got a 1 there.
I'm telling you. It was like
nothing like it.
I was like, really? We don't have to make the product.
Josh said 1.
So there you go. I mean, it comes with that 4 ready-made products. For under $1,000, website automations, automated sales funnel, the 4 prepackaged products that we could have the master resale rights.
Thank you for that.
We were in. That was it.
But how can we say they're in high demand?
How can we say they're high demand? Tell us about that.
Oh, it's my turn.
I'm
sorry. Say something.
I get so excited about this thing. I take over. I'm sorry.
No, I Googled it. I went because I was concerned. I've been in other programs. They were just courses, and those courses had digital products. It sounded really good, but once I got in there, nobody was looking for those digital products was the problem.
Right.
So I went to Google and I Googled it. If you're old enough to Google in here, put a 1 in the chat because we are Googlers. We're that age group.
I'm a 1.
We're definitely ones.
I'm a 1.
So I went and Googled it and asked Google how many people in the U.S. are looking for a way to create an income online. And it said 54% of American workers. Now, guys, that's a huge number. That's a big opportunity because we have 4 products that teach people how to get in their own online business. People are looking, people are hurting, and we have something to help them. They're hurting because we're all living in this same economy where everything is costing so dadgum much.
Yeah.
Our dollar is not stretching at all like it used to. And a lot of us are headed for those retirement years where we're not going to have the income that we need.
Yeah. Or that we want. I mean, we could survive, but we couldn't have any fun.
Who wants to just survive? I mean, we want a vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wanted to enjoy our retirement years.
We want to hang out with our grandkids and take them places and do fun stuff with them.
Yeah.
So 54% of American workers looking for a side hustle. That's a product that's in high demand.
And that's exactly what we have.
Yes.
Our program comes with 4 ready-made products that teaches people how to be in their own digital marketing business. Okay. Now, if that doesn't make any sense to you, it didn't me either. But
no.
So I said, okay, now, Lori, let me get my mind around this. So me and my son were sitting there on the couch.
He's 27. He couldn't get it either.
He was sitting on the couch. I was sitting in my chair. So, okay, now, Lori, explain that to me one more time. How does that work?
And I'm not great at explaining it either. I was brand new.
So here's what finally happened. So what you do is you buy these 4 prepackaged products that teaches people how to be in their own online business, okay?
Yes.
And then is the day you buy those, you have the master resale rights to those 4 packaged products, okay? And the master resale rights gives you the right to sell those same 4 products to people like me that are looking for a way to be in their own online business, okay? So you're buying a program and then you have that teaches you how to be in your own online business, and you have those same products and you can turn around and resell those things that the same we could get in this business to somebody else like me that are looking for that same thing. Does that make sense? So you're buying a program and you have the right to resell that program as many times as you want.
Right.
So that means So within 3 days, 3 or 4 days, you have everything connected. You have your website set up. You have everything done. It's all automated. It's all done for you. Get it all set up and get where people can buy from you. Within 2 or 3 days, you can have that all up and running, and you have the same business model that I have. You can sell those same 4 products. That was revolutionary to me.
And it made sense to us because we needed a way to make income quickly.
We needed it now.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do a startup and do a year to get my MBA in marketing online
Right.
on how to digitally promote a product online. We needed a business today. We wanted something that's already ready to go. I mean, how would you rather, have a turnkey operation this, the day you spend your $1,000 here to get into this business, they give you a key and says, okay, all you got to do is go unlock the door, turn the lights on, and go to work, and you're in business.
Right.
Well, that sounded really good to me.
Right.
So, like I said earlier, it checked all those boxes that we were looking for. And we'd been down the road and bought these canned courses and spent thousands of dollars.
I bought a lot.
And it was just led us to nowhere. And I think what separates us from a lot of courses out there, I'm not talking anybody else down because there's other ways.
We don't know all the other
I don't know.
We don't.
This has checked all our boxes.
Right.
What I like about this one is you're not buying a canned course. Actually, you're buying an ongoing program.
Living, breathing program.
It is constantly evolving, because how many of you guys know that the internet and it changes constantly?
Absolutely.
Technology, what was good 5 years ago is not good today. And we're living proof of that, because we had an Amazon business for 5 years, and it was a great ride, people.
Oh my goodness.
It was wonderful.
So where we found out we wanted to have another online business.
That's what it taught us, that, it's an unlimited number of potential customers out there that are online. There's 5 billion people scrolling on social media every day. That's the market I want to be in. Okay.
This is where the eyeballs are. This is where the shoppers are.
And it's not going to go away. They say that digital marketing is going to be a $1 trillion business by 2030.
Yeah.
Well, I want my piece.
Yeah. Why not? Why wouldn't we?
And 59 and 60 years old, I never dreamed that I would have that.
No.
But here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah, we have the opportunity to take advantage of that.
And there's somebody that just went through and said this thing is getting saturated.
Oh, really? Well, cool. There's like probably
5.2 billion people on social media
every day, and 54% of all American workers are looking for a way to be in an online business.
Yes.
And I think there's like 45,000 people. 47,000 people in this particular business. So
saturation happens at 70%.
So have we scratched the scratch? No, we have not.
But I think it was Mark who said that if you are seeing a lot of social media marketers, digital marketers in your feed, it's because that's what you're interested in. TikTok has, it's a search engine, and it is showing you, it's showing you what you've been looking at, so you get to see more and more, and it feels like saturation.
Yeah, but no, we're not even close. Not even close.
No.
I mean, our phones and things, they're blowing up every day, all day, saying we want more information. We want to know how to do this. So no, we're not even close to being saturated. It never will be.
And that was something that you were concerned about. He was concerned about that and about longevity.
Yeah, being in business all these years, we had a print business where we had print magazines for a few years. And what was happening is technology has changed. Well, print magazines and newspapers, they used to be huge businesses. Their lifespan is coming to a close, to the end, because
and dry cleaning.
Because it's their business cycle is almost done. So we're very keenly aware of how that works. And so
declining business.
That was
We've been there.
That was one thing that one of the boxes I had to check is, okay, we get involved in this.
Hi, Craig from South Africa. Awesome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So is this going to be something that's going to be around 5 years from now? That was a big concern of mine, because I don't want to waste my time.
And we're going into retirement years, and we didn't want to bank on something and then have to go back to work again. Yeah.
So I wanted something that had staying power and had longevity to it. And so that was one of the boxes that had to be checked. And the good thing about the Legacy Builder program is what we're involved with here is it comes with these 4 prepackaged products to start with to sell. But that's just the tip of the that's just the start.
Yes.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. If you really want to get down in the weeds on this thing, let's say that you're really good at I don't know,
mechanic work of some kind.
Let's say you're a mechanic or you're an expert at
business leadership,
whatever it might be. Let's say you're a good mechanic and you can put together a digital product of your own explaining how to change the brakes on these 3 models of cars or this series of vehicles. Well, you could prepackage that and somebody's going to, for $29.95, I can buy that from you. And there's a market for it.
Your own product.
There's millions of people that don't know, like me, that goes to YouTube and tries to figure out how to do a certain skill. It's available for you to sell out there. That might be a real basic way of doing it. But let's say you're a guitar player and you're professional, but you have a hard time making a living doing that. A lot of musicians out there have a very difficult time making a living, or they don't have time to go on the road and travel all over the country to do it. But they're very, very talented,
and they could teach a lot of people.
How do you monetize that? Well, you come with a digital course on how to teach people how to play the guitar, and then you market that through the skills that you learn in this business, and now you have another income stream. So what I'm trying to say is it has staying power because not only comes with these 4 prepackaged products that are ready for you to resell to whoever you want to, whoever is looking to be in their own business, but it also teaches you the skills on how to develop your own product that you can turn right around and market through these skills and create and have your own product.
Right.
And the one thing she's a professional speaker and has been for 20 years. She goes around to corporate settings and teaches people how to get along with their coworkers and those kinds of things. That's her other life. But anyway,
see how well I get along with my coworker.
the 20 years over 20 years
so
she's been doing that. She has a ton of information on the skill set in order to do that. I mean, she's definitely. I mean, they pay her a lot of money to do this. And she's wrote a book about it and all those kind of things. We've always talked about, if we could digitize that whole system,
create my own program,
our own digital product and market it and know how to market it online to the 5 billion people that are scrolling. How much money could you make?
I couldn't figure out how to market it.
No, that was always been a problem.
No, I know.
So, our goal is to develop our own digital products going forward. So to say that it's saturated is just not true, because not only you have these 4 products, but how many other digital products could you come up with and market? Right. And it teaches you those skills how to do it. Remember me telling you, it teaches you how to fish. Well, that's what this program does. It teaches you how to market. It teaches you how to fish. It teaches you the skill set that you need to be successful to market products or services or whatever it is that you're good at.
Exactly.
So that was a long answer to that question. But I understand.
It's what we had to wrap our mind around before we got started.
It took me 3 months to check all the boxes on this business. So I get it.
And we're old.
Yeah. I mean, I do. I understand your pessimism. I do. I had to answer all those questions for myself as well. So I respect that.
And we did have a comment up here from, let's see. It's from Craig from South Africa. Yes, it enabled me to retire 5 years early. Yes.
All right.
Oh,
Craig.
that's awesome. And yes, King Simon, we are part of the Legacy Builders program. Yep. And then my husband and I go to YouTube to learn all kinds of things.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Us too, Teresa.
Yeah. I did the same thing. And so to say that, and how many digital products have we bought,
thousands of
dollars
yes.
To learn certain skills that we're looking for. I used the example the other day about my uncle was a professional painter. He was a a painter, old union painter from California. That's where he got his union card and all that stuff to learn how to paint houses and commercial buildings and that kind of thing. Well, I worked for him as when I was in junior high. He taught me a lot of skills on, how to sand cabinets and, how to, paint buildings and, all those things,
Because he was a professional.
Because he was a professional.
Yeah. Well,
the thing is, it didn't matter if you're a professional painter or whatever. I mean, he had a skill set that, was unbelievable. If he was still around, he could have created a digital product and teach people to create a course on how to become a professional painter. I mean, it's there. And there's people out there that would love to have that, that skill because it's something that they want to do, a business they want to get into. So, the possibilities are completely endless. And this is where everybody's going to get information.
Right.
The World Wide Web is just, it's an information highway. You guys know this. It's where everybody is going to get information on being taught how to do things. In fact, digital marketing is now being taught in universities as a degree.
Yeah.
And here we have it, you can buy our program for $900 and you can know how to do it on your own. So that's a pretty awesome deal, I think. So, what else you got?
Teresa says those skills are dying out now, and it's sad. She's talking about what your uncle used to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so they're going to be harder and harder to find.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean,
people will be looking online.
I heard the other day that some of the highest paid jobs out there are like plumbers and electricians and the trades. There's people that they don't they're in such high demand because nobody's getting into it. So. What if you could pre-package those kind of skill sets, especially for us old dogs that's worked our whole lives on something? We have more skills than we can imagine. And if you could digitize those and pass them on and put them for sale and know how to market those online, man, what a gold mine.
Because anybody can set up a camera and make a program, but it's that marketing part that was difficult for us. That's difficult for most people to understand. How do you get the word out? How do you let people know what you have? How do you find the right people? And that's what we're being taught in this business is attraction marketing, finding the right people by sharing your story. Those are the skills that we're learning in our 4 programs is how to get on here and do this. This is the work right here. This is the work is going live, making little videos and putting them on social media. Because right now we're on YouTube and TikTok at the same time going live. And that's all skills that we learned here.
Yes.
Step by step, even for us with the older brains.
We never had
no skills.
Never had a TikTok account.
No.
We didn't know anything about YouTube. We didn't know anything about anything. When it comes to tech stuff.
We know about business and what a good business looks like. We do know that.
Yeah. So, we're a testament to the system that we're involved with. So, and the other thing, I think that one of the biggest things that it has taught us so far is to come on here and be who we are.
Right.
I mean, this is who we really are.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're sitting here talking about this at the kitchen table, this is how we are.
Yeah.
We're here having a good time building this together. And if you're a couple out there, we've worked our whole lives together.
He can't get rid of me.
No, but it's true. And it's really sometimes in the beginning it was because it was necessity because we couldn't afford to hire anybody else to do it. We had to do it together. So we
were really young business owners back in the day.
I mean, we were, I was probably about 23, something like that when we had our first business. And
when we got married, you had the charter bus service already.
So I was 21. Yeah, I already had a charter bus service business and in debt, up to my eyeballs.
I had no idea.
She had
what
no
that
idea
meant.
what she's getting into.
Yeah.
But we've done a lot of stuff in our life. And all of them were successful. The charter bus business was probably the least successful. Because it was just so capital.
It was a money pit.
So capital intense. It was unreal.
Yeah. And you're exposed to the public.
Yeah. And the other thing is marketing was just endless.
That was in 1985. So we were like on the radio.
Yeah.
And print. That was what there was.
Yeah. So there was
We
there
couldn't
was no
afford
internet.
TV.
You know.
Yeah, we couldn't afford TV
So
ads.
it was an expensive proposition, in order to get the word out there
Yeah.
that we had this service, and so we were trying to sell snow ski packages from Oklahoma to New Mexico and Colorado, and all kinds of things.
Little tours and stuff.
It was just, but you know what? I wouldn't trade that experience for anything because it taught us a lot about business.
It did.
It really did.
And every school of hard knocks right there.
Everything that we've been in and been involved with has been a sum total that's brought us to here.
Yes.
Okay. And there's no such thing as a bad business, but there's some that are a lot better than others.
Yeah.
And that's a fact.
We have discovered.
Yeah. So this business, it checks all those little boxes that, we've learned over the years that we were looking for. And one of them was the product is digital, and you can sell it over and over again, and you get 100% profit on a digital product.
Yeah.
You might say, well, for me, that was another difficult thing for me to get my brain around.
We've never had that.
I never had that, but here's the deal. Let's say you write you have a digital product that you've created and you sell it,
or that you own the master resale rights,
or own the master resale rights, which you have, and you sell it to someone. Well, it's gone, right? You send it to them. Boop, there it is again. You can sell the same product again. It's 100% profit. And we have no ongoing expenses in this business. So far, we've been involved with this for about 5-6 months here. And what's our total investment so far?
The $900 and $29 for the website.
Yeah.
And I bought a domain name.
Yeah. So for under $1,000, that's all the money we have spent. Period. That's all there. That's it. There's no ongoing expenses. And that was another thing. I'm just like, you mean I don't have to pay a commission? I don't have to pay a monthly platform fee?
Especially after being on Amazon.
Like I said,
we paid a lot of fees.
It was another one of those boxes that we got to check off. Okay. So there's no ongoing expenses. So that's why I tell you, whenever you sell, one of these programs to someone that wants to be in business for themselves, it's 100% profit. And it's automated. This business comes with a website. The $29 fee covers your website. All you do is plug in your picture and your info, and then it shows you how to hook up your bank account to Stripe or PayPal or whatever you want to hook up. And the money it's automatic. And it's all the automated emails, the follow-up emails. How many of y'all ever, been involved in want to create all that? I don't.
No.
I don't know how. So, it was another box to check off.
All that tech is done for you. All of that automation.
All that automation. So that's how, we have a 2-hour workday here. 2-3 hours is what we spend working on this business. And do you have to? No. Can you spend more time? Yes. Can you spend less time? Yes. It's your business. You can do that however you want to do it. But we talk about 2 to 3 hours is what we spend on it. Okay. So what you tell them about your 2-hour workday?
So I spend a little bit of time making 3 videos that I post on social media, and it's on several different platforms. The same video, I just put it on several different ones. And the first one's maybe about 2 minutes long. The second one's under a minute or right at a minute. And the third one is 7 seconds to 15 seconds. Simple process. It still takes me during my workday to do all the things more than 2 hours because I have a lot of words and I ramble on, and I have to edit them out of my videos to make them short enough so that people will watch them.
So she's had to learn the skill.
Yeah. It's a skill I've had to learn.
Yeah,
but it was step by step, learning the skills and learning how to edit. That's also part of the skills that you're learning.
Yeah.
I also answer questions on social media or on my emails, which is about 15 minutes. I interact with other people who are marketing because the algorithms like that. So that's part of what I do during my 2 hours, couple of hours that it takes a day to get my work done. And then we go live.
Yeah.
So, and that's on top of, that's not something you have to do. It works well for us because we like to talk to people. And we miss talking to people about business because in Amazon, there was really nobody who understood what we were doing.
No, it was a really easy job.
It
really
was, but it
an
was just
easy
us two
business.
working in the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we go to, our supply, stores where we're
Yeah.
getting all of our stuff. And one time we were selling Depends for women for, adult diapers, basically. Okay.
Yeah.
We found a really good deal on them.
Great deal on them.
And so
Hundreds and hundreds of them.
we went in there and we filled up, just carts, hundreds of these things. And it was dragging up to the cashier, to the little lady up there. And I looked at her and I said, she's got a real problem.
Because they were women's Depends.
And I said, and here's the other thing, is I never stop when we travel. Oh, so we had a good time. And we do have a good time.
We do have a good time.
Everything we've ever done,
Hop up there and follow us. Go over to our page, our TikTok page or our YouTube page, and check out our videos. Yeah, we're having a really good time.
Yeah, we live life.
Acting crazy and relating it back to business. It's a ball.
It is. It's fun. So, it is a serious business, but, we have a lot of fun.
This is really who we are, though.
Yeah, we have a really fun time doing it. If you can't have fun doing it, then why do it?
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. If we can't have fun and enjoy it, then, it's not worth it to me.
Right.
So what I do love about this business is it gives us, time freedom,
right,
and gives us location freedom.
Oh,
wait a minute. Those are more boxes that I'm checking.
Yeah.
It checked off more of those.
Because we're on vacation right now.
Yeah, we're on vacation right now.
We chose to do this. Nobody says you have to do this.
No.
We chose to do this.
But we're down here in Galveston. I call it the armpit beach of the United States. I'm sorry, Galveston. But,
it's not very nice.
There's a lot nicer beaches, but here's the deal. It's the closest one to Oklahoma.
Right.
So, you can be here in about 8.5 hours from where we live.
Right.
So it's the closest place that we can go to the beach. And besides that, 70 degrees here. And I understand it's getting really cold up there.
Oh, we heard it might be ice tomorrow.
Yeah. So, we dread going back, but, meanwhile, we're going to enjoy the weather here. So, it checks all those boxes. We were talking about just this morning, it brings me home from my job this year, this business. This is what life is going to be like.
Yes.
We're going to be able to do it from wherever we're at. And it's not only is going to give us our time back, but it's going to give us the income to go and do whatever we want to do and go wherever we want to go.
And to have our grandkids during the week instead of just on the weekends when Pops is tired.
I don't know what your reason is.
Yeah.
Why you'd be looking for an online business. Maybe it's, just to buy a new house or buy a new vehicle.
Get out of debt. We got debt we got to get rid of.
You don't like your job and you want to have your own time freedom. You want to be in control of your destiny. I don't know what your reason is, but here's the question. Is your reason big enough to make change? And if it is, then, you come to the right place. You got to overcome some fears and you're like, well, I don't know if it'll work for me. I don't know, all those questions. Well, you can make all the excuses you want, but here's the deal. If you don't change what you're doing, nothing's going to change.
Nothing's going to change.
You're going to be in the same boat you were a year ago, or it's going to be different, and only you can control that. So, and I'm not saying that this is the answer for everyone. All I can say is you owe it to yourself to have an open mind long enough to check it out and decide for yourself. And the only way you can do that is go there and you click that link and put your best email in there, and you go through our website, and
you'll get a 5-minute video from our founder.
Yeah, from our founder.
And it's going to answer 90% of your questions. If you have questions after that, just email us back on one of those emails. You can unsubscribe at any time.
Yeah, I don't care.
I'm telling you right now is the fastest growing, best time to get into this business, because people are looking. It's January. People are looking for a way to make 2025 better.
Yeah.
Right now. So we're in at the exact right time. This is a great time for you to be looking at it.
It really is. And it's never going to be perfect timing, whether you do this business or something else. You know how many times you say, well, I'm going to do that as soon as we do this. As soon as we do this. As soon as this happens, we're going to do that.
Yeah, we've done that.
Oh, yeah. It's just, that's life. We're human. But here's the deal. It's never going to be perfect timing.
No.
You just got to jump. It's like, putting off that trip, your dream vacation or whatever. well, well, we're going to wait till we retire. Well, now we're retired. We're on fixed income. We can't go. Whatever it might be. I'm saying go for it. Okay.
Yes.
I'm saying
No
go
regrets.
for it. No regrets. Live life with no regrets. And that's what we try to do every day. We try to enjoy every moment we have because, you don't know what next year holds.
Right.
And there again, our age, kind of teaches you a few lessons. And my dad, mom and dad, they went to Alaska. He was 80.
He was 80.
And he was very fit.
Big trip.
And a big trip. They went to Alaska because they didn't know where they wanted to go.
They didn't want to spend the money.
They didn't want to spend the money because it was really expensive. It was like a month-long
Yeah.
vacation. I mean, they had, they did the train. They went through Denali. They did the cruise, the train, the whole thing.
All of it.
And, he told me, he said, Carl, I don't know if we can really afford to do this. I don't know if I want to spend the money to do all that. But, he said, but you know what? We're not getting any younger. He said, I may not feel like it a year from now. He said, so if we don't do it now, then we probably won't do it.
Right.
And I said, you're right. You should do it. So go for it. So they did. 1 year later, he had a massive stroke and he lost the ability to walk and he couldn't speak anymore for the next 8 years until he died. And we talked about it. I mean, he was still in his right mind.
Yes, his brain worked perfect.
And he would write on his little tablet to me. He said, do not wait.
Yeah. You just say, stop waiting. Ooh, that got me.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys.
So if that's you.
Don't wait.
Yeah. Here's your sign. Here's your sign. It's time to make a decision. So don't wait on things to happen because it'll pass you by.
Yes.
Yeah. So sorry about that.
Well, that was unexpected.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. You cry, I cry.
I know.
I could hire out. My mom used to tell me all the time, Laura, you could hire out. You cry so easy.
Yeah, you be a professional mourner. But yeah, it is serious. You only have so much time that you're going to feel like doing something. So for us, it was a no-brainer.
Yes, he's spending 11 hours a day gone on that job.
Yeah.
And we don't want that anymore.
I got a big reason.
Yes.
Because I want my time back. I don't hate my job. I like my job. I like
nice
the people. The people I work for, I feel like I'm doing some good,
I think I'm nicer people, though, than the people he works with.
So, I mean, I like what I do, and I'm thankful for the job, okay?
Yes.
I really, really am. It's just that I want that time back because I know how precious your time is. That's the only commodity that we only have a limited supply of, and you can't make more of it. So, I say go for it, whatever it is, whether it's this business or something else. Don't wait, jump and do it. Okay, live every moment.
Right.
Any other questions we have about this business?
We didn't do this.
Okay.
These are our 4 products. Those are our different price points. We do have payment options for each one. You can get started today for as little as $100, even for the largest one.
Yeah,
on a payment plan.
Yeah. So, I mean, if $900 puts you in a bind, you can put it on a payment plan and you have the same master resale rights as soon as you buy it. Okay. That we have. The MRR is master resale rights. That's what that means. So it comes with that. It comes with all the things that you need. It comes with your website, your one-time $29 fee for that. And then you just plug all your stuff in there. It comes with the sales funnel and it comes with the automated emails. Everything is prepackaged and ready to go for you. And it's just a phenomenal thing. It's like I said, it's like, buying a business in a box. It comes turnkey. Everything you need is there. Step-by-step instructions on how to do it. So it's a real simple thing. But go over there and check it out. Put your best email in there and you can go down and you can see what all is included in the $100 program, see what all is included in the $300 program, the $600 program, and the $900 program. And here's how it works. If you buy the $900 program, it comes with these other 3. You have the master resale rights on all of them. If you bought the $600,
that's why we bought the $900.
Yeah, $600 one, it comes with that one plus the other 2 below it. And if you buy the $300 one, you can sell the 300 and the 100. Okay. And the other thing is you say, well, I just want to get my feet wet. I want to buy the $300 one and decide if this is for me. And a lot of people, they'll buy that one. Then within like 30 days, if you upgrade to the 900, you just pay the difference here to get to the 300.
But past 30 days, then
you have to buy the whole program. But so, it's the choices are all yours. And in our website, over there, you just follow all the buttons all the way down there to the purchase page, and you can click the button and purchase it
and see how much it costs.
Yeah, see how much it costs
for payment
for
program.
payment programs or whatever you want to do. So, and then the thing is, it's like, well, then what? Well, then you plug in and, you hook everything. It goes step by step. It has a 7-day program, that 7-day sprint on how to be successful in 7 days to get everything up and running and, connect everything.
Launch to profit in 7 days. That's that. We'll plug you into that program.
Yeah, plug you into that program, and it, gets you all hooked up, and you're in business. You have the same business we have.
Right.
Okay. And you go to work, and you show up, and you're coachable, and you work at it.
So is that a guarantee that you'll?
No.
There's no guarantee.
There is no guarantee. It's your own business.
Right.
I mean, you open up a restaurant tomorrow, there's no guarantee anybody going to show up and eat your food.
We would.
Yeah.
We'd come eat
I
your
probably
food.
would, yeah. But but you have the opportunity,
Yes.
okay? Because I told you, really, I'm not selling a product. I'm selling an opportunity.
We're just promoting an opportunity.
That's it. Check it out, and if it's something that's important to you and that you want to give it a shot, go for it.
Looks like Shawnee Wallace. Is this a course? This is a program.
A program, yeah.
So there are courses. There's 4 courses inside the program,
Mhm.
but the program is, it also has training, live training, several times a week. So, and it's changing all the time, and they're updating
Right.
within our platform all the time, so that we know. No, thanks for hopping by, and thanks for the question.
Yeah,
we appreciate
thanks for
you.
the question. And the thing is the difference between a course and buying a course or buying a program. To me, they're two different things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we bought lots of courses in our life, and to me, it's like buying cereal on the shelf that's been there for a year. It doesn't taste very good because it's outdated, right? And that's what a course is. But if you buy a program, this living, breathing thing that's changing, then it's a completely different animal. And to prove that is there's a lot of talk about TikTok going away and all that kind of stuff. Well, in our business, our mentors and everybody that's involved in this business is evolving. They're teaching us how to go onto YouTube. They're teaching us how to go on Lemonade and all these other platforms that are out there that has nothing. So if you bought this canned program and there's no support behind it, and your TikTok goes away,
You'd be dead in the water.
Then what would happen?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. That's another one of those boxes I checked. So there you go. If it checks all your boxes, then it takes all your excuses away.
Because our coaches and founders are doing the exact same thing we are.
Yeah,
they're on here sharing about the business. They're teaching us best practices every single day.
They're selling the same
every single day.
The same 4 packaged products that we're selling. So
we're not after the same customer.
No.
Because there's 5.2 billion people on here.
Yeah.
You're relating with people who are like you.
Absolutely.
That's what we're being taught how to do.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Let's see. What else did we need to tell them? 100% profit.
Yeah.
2-hour workday.
Yeah, the
100%
profit is just phenomenal. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, when we're in business, we made, locomotive filters and truck filters and that kind of stuff for 20 years. Man, it costs a lot of money for all the materials. I used to buy, steel, for to make the frames for the air filters. I used to buy it by the truckload. The expenses and all the materials that it took to.
Ooh.
In fact, it was one of those businesses that was, very material intense.
Right.
Probably 70% of every sales dollar went into materials. And then you had to buy the equipment, then you had to have the employees, then you had to have the marketing, and then you had to have the transportation, all those other things in order to accomplish that manufacturing process to the end. Man, whenever I saw this 100% profit deal, it still just gets me excited. And I hope I can convey that to you, because that's a powerful thing.
It is.
You have a digital product that's 100%, profit over and over again that you can sell, and you don't have to go back and remake it every time is a pretty powerful tool. pretty powerful product. It really, really is.
And being in Amazon, we knew that having customers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, worldwide, just like we have on here, that's where we wanted to be again. But we had physical products, so we had to rush home. If we had been gone somewhere, feed the Amazon beasts, get things back in that warehouse so they could sell for us again. So this is completely opposite from that. We have our own warehouse digitally, and we ship right away. I mean, as soon as somebody pushes that pay button, they're going to get their products.
You click and there
That's
it is. Yeah.
So it's a much more simple process, and we had never had the opportunity to plug into anything digital before.
And you might be saying, well, how much money can be made in this business? I mean, like I said, there is no salary cap.
No salary cap.
You could sell this $900 program, 3 times a day.
But what if you just sold it once a day?
What if you sold it just once a day? That's what we're taught in here is, you sell
daily pay.
Daily pay. If you sell one $900 product a day, that's over $300,000 a year. So
would that change your life?
I mean, is that going to
that'd change our life?
Is that going to happen? No, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it can happen. It's according to how good you get at these skills and how many people you get to stop the scroll and talk to that person. Well, those 54% of the American workers looking for an online business that you can stop on here and get them to look at your program so that decide if it's for them or not. That's the whole deal. And so, well, what's your customer acquisition cost? Zero. Now, what does that mean? What does customer acquisition mean? Go ahead and explain that.
Oh, well, if you're paying for advertising, that's your customer acquisition cost.
Yeah.
We do not promote in this program. We don't promote ever advertising and paying for advertising because social media is free and you just have to learn these skills and you're just as effective as a sponsored ad that you'll see on here that they had to pay for. Yeah, they had to pay for it before anybody ever clicked on it. Yeah. I mean, as soon as somebody clicks on it, they got to pay.
Yeah, we've had pay-per-click advertising in our Amazon business. And it can get real expensive in a hurry.
Real fast.
You want to make sure you put a cap on that if you ever do that. But yeah, I mean, and
we're not teaching
that. I mean, we have spent $0 on customer acquisition.
Yeah, zero.
Cost, zero. Okay, so it doesn't cost you anything. So that's another. Oh, wait a minute. That's one of those boxes I checked. Yeah.
We should just get a box with a bunch of checks on it.
Yeah, so, checks that box. So, that's a really important point. A lot of programs or a lot of, these canned programs that you can buy, a lot of them, they don't tell you the customer acquisition costs until you're into it,
right.
For the next 6 months trying to learn how to do this. And we can attest to this.
We tried Audible.
We tried Audible.
With a certain program.
We bought the program and we went in and it was like, I don't know, it was like $8,000 we had to spend for this program and training to learn how to do this. And because we wanted a digital product.
Yeah.
So this was, I don't know, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And so we went through the whole program. Then we got it was probably month 3 or 4. We were, hiring ghostwriters and all kinds of things. Everything, we're following. And then they said, oh, and by the way, you're going to have to spend, $300 to $500 a day or a week or how much ever advertising that it took to promote your book now. And we're just like, what?
Yeah, we had no idea.
They never told us that.
They didn't tell us that.
So they never, they give you all these blue sky numbers. Hey, numbers. You can make all this money and it's 100% profit. Da, 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 da. But they didn't tell you the acquisition costs in order to get that customer to buy your product.
Yes.
So it's a really important point. And I said all that to say that there is no customer acquisition costs in this business.
Right.
It's there again, we've been down the road. So is another box checked for us. So all I can say is, go out there and click that link in our bio and put your best email in there and check it out for yourself. Follow us, check us out, check this business out. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised what you really find once you really check it out. Now, whether it'll be for you or not, that's totally your decision.
Yes.
And it doesn't affect us either way. Really, it doesn't. We only want to help the people that this is for.
Right.
Okay? So, and only you can make that decision.
Exactly.
And that's another great thing about it. I mean, how many of y'all ever been in an MLM, a
yeah.
level marketing business or something? We're not chasing our friends and people in the grocery store or people at church down. Hey, look at our stuff. And we don't do that.
In MLM, we did.
But in MLM, we did.
Oh, we did.
They'd hide behind the, I don't know.
We were calling everybody.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We had the list of 100 people to call, every acquaintance you've ever known. And,
for every promotion that came up.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes. Showing them the Amway products.
Yeah. It's not like that. I mean, I haven't, we're not chasing anybody.
We never hear no though, which is super nice.
That is really nice. We just tell people about the opportunity, and if it's for them, then great. Check it out. That's how we do. Any other questions out there?
Let's see. Show us how much you've made. I'll buy if you've actually made money.
We have made sales. I do not tell people what I made. I don't. I mean, it's just like somebody asking, well, how much does your business make? Well, I never tell them, because it's really not anybody's business but ours.
But I will tell you, we're bringing him home from his job this year.
That's true.
We are on track.
And we do make sales.
We're making good money. Yeah.
Everything's great. Yeah. And I do that because, everybody's running their own race.
That's really true.
Everybody's running their own race.
It's not a get rich quick.
No, it's not.
You're doing work here.
No.
Real life skills, real work.
If some people volunteer that information, it's something we chose not to do. It was on here 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And what's her name?
Christy
was on here. I think she's 67 years old, and she got involved in this business.
She's comfortable sharing her finances.
Yeah.
We just never have been.
No.
For our 39 years of being in business.
No. So she got on here and she said, what did she say? In the last 4 months?
4 months.
In 4 months, she has made, what was it? $32,000 doing this business. So, I mean, you can sell this program 50 times a day. It's just, how good are you at marketing?
Yeah.
It's just.
And we didn't have a following either.
No, we're started from zero.
So if you're concerned about that.
Yeah, we started with no TikTok followers,
Never been on TikTok.
Never
been on any social media.
No, we had no following. And one thing that was important to me is I did not want to do that, because I wanted to start from zero. Because to me, it was one of those things that I wanted to, one of those boxes I wanted to check. I wanted to prove that this system works for whoever chooses to buy it. Okay. With no following, starting from zero and organically building it from nothing. That was really, really important to me. In fact, Lori's asked me many times, well, you think we should put, she had a little Facebook following because she's been on Facebook a long time. I said, I don't want to yet. I don't want to until we have built this business to a level that we're comfortable with, and it brings me home from my job. Then I'd be willing to, share it with people that we actually, friends and all those other people, because I want to prove that anybody can do this. That's why. It's not that I'm ashamed of it. Gosh, I'm
having a ball.
I could care less what people think of me. I just want to prove that it's duplicatable for anybody that follows these steps can be successful.
Right.
And that's what we're doing. And we are making sales, and it's going great.
After multiple MLM, etc., how do I know you're not just another of the 48,000 gullible people? Gosh, nobody's ever called us gullible. But
well, maybe I am. I don't know. All I know is in 39 years in business, call me gullible if you want, but it's been a great ride.
But you don't know us. No, we get that.
I get that. I do.
We get that. You don't know us from anybody.
And I understand that.
You have to find somebody you like, know, and trust. We understand that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point of going live, actually.
Yeah. And maybe we're not those people for you, and that's fine. Go find somebody that you are comfortable with.
Yes.
And I get that, because I can't, I can't sell.
We don't relate with everybody.
I don't relate with everybody. Yeah. But here's another one of those, little things is, I forgot where I was going with that.
I don't know.
Anyway, we can't.
It's real life.
Sometimes
it's real life right here.
And we sometimes we are a little gullible. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you is, every business that we've ever evaluated, in 39 years, we've looked at what the what all the potential is, and maybe we've spent too much time telling you about that. And part of that is because it's the entrepreneur in me, and I get excited about business. Okay,
He does.
you always look at the best case scenario. How much money can you make? You can make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Especially when we were younger. That's the only thing we looked at.
It's the only thing we looked at.
We thought we could build anything.
But I'll tell you what I've learned. Okay, and we've bought a few businesses in our life. Is we 8 of them. We've looked at what is, what's the upside, what's the best potential, how much money do you think we can make, and how good do you think we could get at this, doing this, whatever it is. And we'd do that. And then we'd turn right around and we'd look at, okay, what is the worst case scenario that can happen?
So we learned we needed to be asking.
When we had to discipline ourselves in order to ask, what's the downside? What is the worst case scenario?
So we would look at that business's worst month.
Mm-hmm. We'd look at the worst month that it had, and look at what our bank payment was going to be. What it was going to take to cover our overhead and make our payment, and what our sales number had to be in order to achieve that number.
Right.
So we knew what our break-even point was. Right. You guys know what I'm talking about. And look at the worst case scenario, and then we'd ask ourselves, okay, can we live with that?
Can we live with it?
And either we could or we couldn't.
Right.
And there was lots of businesses that we evaluated that we could not live with that.
No.
And so we passed on them.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting? Every business that we've ever bought and been in.
Interesting and painful this is.
This really is. We found ourselves at that worst case scenario at some point during when we owned that business.
During the life of the business.
In the life of that business. We found ourselves in that spot. And we'd sit around and we'd talk about it. Well, we talked about this.
Yeah. We thought this could happen.
So I ask you to evaluate this business exactly the same way. What is the worst case scenario when you evaluate this business? This is just how we evaluate businesses. Right. Ask yourself that question. And if you can live with that, then I say go for it. If you can't live with that, then don't do it. Yeah. For real. Yeah. And only you can answer that question. I can't answer that question for you. But for us, it was just like, well, for $1,000, I don't see any downside in that, because my cell phone that we're going to be using to build this business costs more than that. This condo that we're renting this week for vacation costs more than that. So I didn't really see it as a huge risk.
Especially with the payment plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they said, well, but my time is worth something. Oh yeah. Okay. If you count the time, if that's something, that you want to consider, I was just looking at dollars, and that's not my effort, because obviously you're going to have to work.
There's effort.
And I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat that in any way, shape, or form. It does take effort.
Yes.
Okay. So
you have to learn a new skill, and you have to put it consistently. Consistency is key.
That's right.
Absolutely key.
We show up every day, just like I get up and go to work every day.
Just like we did in our other businesses.
I showed up.
It's real life.
I went to work. Even when I was sick, I went to work, because I knew
you had COVID right before we came here.
Yeah. I went to work.
You went to work?
They said, well, we need you to be here. We need you to be here. I said, okay, I'll be there. I said, so they just shut me in my office, and they said, you can't open this door. And they left me food outside and everything.
Like a little prisoner.
This is really true.
Which 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, which I didn't mind, because I really didn't feel that bad, but I knew that I was contagious. Right. So, it was fine, but it's kind of funny. So, you have
That's what we want to get away from.
Yeah, but you have to have that kind of drive when you're doing it for yourself too. You have to show up and you got to do it, even when you don't feel like it, So anyway, did that answer your question? I hope. Yeah. And like I said, I kind of like to cover, the upside and the downside, and the pessimists, and I try to cover it all, because all I can do is be transparent with you, and tell you what we saw in our own experience, and I will tell you that we feel like we've been a complete success in this business. We're very happy with where we're at, and the money that's coming in, we're happy with it. Everything is going great,
and there is a real momentum happening right now.
Yes.
January,
it
has
incredible.
been remarkable.
And we have people contact us every day.
This is a great month.
We want more information. We want to look at it. We want to, and that's all I can do is put them, into our sales funnel, into our website and all that.
Give them the information.
And then I feel like I've done my job because I want you to make a decision for you.
Right.
I don't want to talk you into it.
No.
Gosh, I don't want to talk you into anything. I want you to make a real decision about it. And if I can get you to do that, then I've done my job.
Yeah.
I've done my marketing job. Yeah. You're going to look at it, and that's important to me. So please go over there and look at it for me. That makes me feel good.
It's all about Carl.
Yeah.
It's just all about him.
Yeah, just go over there and check it out for yourself and make a real decision.
Yes, make a real decision.
Yeah.
Education is power.
That's
Knowledge is power. That's the word I needed. Knowledge is power.
It doesn't cost anything to look at it. So, and as far as your email goes, hey, if you say this is not for me and you opt out of our email list, I'm not going to bother you. You're out. You're done. I mean,
Unsubscribe.
I'm subscribed.
Hi, Jim.
I don't sell your information or any of those kinds of things. Gosh,
We don't know how to do that.
I don't want to know how. I don't
We're
know.
not techie.
No. So it's fine. So it believe me, I won't come chasing you. I'm not going to call you. I'm not going to hit you up or anything.
Yeah.
It's your choice. Okay. Any other questions out there?
I do think that business owners have to. They somewhat have to be dreamers, though.
Mm-hmm.
They're so not gullible, but dreamers.
Yeah. If you stick your head up above the crowd, you're going to get a few tomatoes.
Get some tomatoes.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I've lived our whole lives like that.
Yes, we have. We've always done the non-traditional.
We have, yeah.
Yeah. And it's worked well for us. I'm late to the live. Oh, that's okay, Andrea. Thanks for hopping in.
Yeah. We got 4 digital products that comes prepackaged. You can be in business for yourself online for under $1,000. Go over there, hit that link in our bio, put your best email in there. It goes through all the information. Our founder's on there, gives you a 5-minute video. She's our mentor, and she explains 90% of the questions much better than we can. And then you can go down there and you can click through all the different payment plans and every product, break it down. It tells you everything that's in each program and all those kinds of things. It goes through everything. So then down at the bottom, you have the option to buy it or not buy it.
Right.
So that's it in a nutshell. Okay.
So yes, Andrea, what you said, y'all made money. We're bringing him home from his job this year, 2025. So yes, we are blessed.
Yes, we are.
We're very blessed.
Yeah. So check it out, and if it's for you, we'd love to have you. You're welcome to. If you have further questions, email us.
Yeah.
We'll do our best to answer your questions. We really will. And we appreciate everybody being here today. We've enjoyed visiting with you and telling you about the Legacy Builders program, and I just hope and pray that you find what you're looking for, that your 2025 takes you where you want to go, and live life with no regrets. Okay, that's what this whole life's all about.
Exactly.
Yeah. Any other questions? We're going to jump off here if there's no other questions, and we'll see you back here.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know, maybe tonight.
Maybe tonight.
Maybe not.
It's vacation.
Yeah. We're going to go to the hot tub.
Yeah, that's right.
The sun's shining, and we're going to go out there and enjoy our last day here. So
you guys have a fantastic rest of your Saturday.
Yes. Enjoy. Thank you for your time.
We appreciate all you DGCers who hopped in and stayed. We appreciate that.
I appreciate you.